Welcome back to Prime Trends USA, where we explore timeless truths and life-changing stories from the Bible. Today we're diving into one of the most empowering verses in Scripture, Philippians 4 verse 13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Have you ever felt like life was just too much to handle? Like the challenges you're facing are way bigger than your own strength? Well, stick around because today's story is going to remind you that with God's power in us, nothing is impossible. Before we get started, if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an inspiring story like this one. Let's get into it. Let's start with one of the most iconic stories in the Bible, the story of David and Goliath. You probably know the basics. A young shepherd boy named David takes on a giant warrior named Goliath. But let's dig deeper into how this story shows us God's power working through ordinary people. Imagine this. Goliath was over 9 feet tall, covered in armor, and had been taunting the entire Israelite army for 40 days. Everyone was terrified, even King Saul, the tallest and strongest of them all. But then comes David, a young shepherd boy, armed with nothing but a sling and 5 smooth stones. When David steps onto the battlefield, he doesn't rely on his own strength. He says to Goliath, "You come against me with sword and spear, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty." And with 1 stone, David defeats the giant. Now here's the thing. David wasn't strong because of his muscles or his slingshot skills. He was strong because he trusted in God's power. He knew that with God, even a shepherd boy could defeat a giant. That's the same power available to us today. Now let's bring this into our modern world. Think about the giants you're facing right now. Maybe it's a health issue, a financial struggle, or a relationship that feels broken. Whatever it is, remember this: you're not fighting alone. God's power is in you just like it was in David. Let me share a real-life example. A few years ago, I met a woman named Sarah. She was a single mom working 2 jobs, barely making ends meet. Her giant was the overwhelming stress of providing for her kids while dealing with her own health issues. One day, she came across Philippians 4 verse 13, and it changed everything. She started praying, "God, I can't do this on my own, but I know I can do all things through your strength." Slowly but surely, things began to change. She found a better job, her health improved, and she even started a small business to help other single moms. Sarah's story is proof that when we rely on God's power, He can turn our struggles into victories. Hey, if this story is encouraging you so far, don't forget to like this video and share it with someone who needs a reminder of God's power. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and join our Prime Trends USA family. We've got so many more inspiring stories coming your way. Now, let's talk about the man who wrote Philippians 4 verse 13, the Apostle Paul. When Paul wrote these words, he wasn't living his best life. He was actually in prison, chained to a Roman guard. But despite his circumstances, Paul says, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." Think about that for a second. Paul wasn't just talking about the good times. He was talking about the hard times too, the times when life feels like a prison. He knew that even in chains, God's power was still at work in him. And here's the amazing part. While Paul was in prison, he wrote letters that would eventually become part of the Bible, letters that have encouraged millions of people for thousands of years. That's the power of God. He can use our darkest moments to shine His light. So, how do we tap into this incredible power? Here are 3 practical steps. 1. Prayer. Talk to God. Tell Him about your struggles and ask for His strength. 2. Faith. Believe that He can do the impossible. Remember, with God, all things are possible. 3. Action. Take steps of faith even when it's scary. Just like David picked up those stones, sometimes we have to step out in faith and trust that God will guide us. And hey, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Let us know what giant you're facing right now and we'll pray for you. We're in this together. Whether you're facing a giant like David, a prison like Paul, or just the everyday struggles of life, remember this: I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. God's power is in you, and with Him, you are unstoppable. Thanks for watching, Prime Trends USA family. If this video encouraged you, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content. Remember, no matter what you're facing, God's power is in you. You've got this because He's got you. See you next time.